What's the bourbon for?
Oh, it's for work.
I thought we were shooting questions over coffee.
Well, we are. We had a question come in about bourbon.
I didn't see one come through.
No, we totally did. Welcome to Questions Over Coffee. I have a special announcement this morning that I'd like to start off with. So due to a garbled space transmission and the fact that we have possibly received too much coffee with our subscription, we are going to start giving it away. Yeah. So what I want to start doing is we'll take a question each time we have a Questions Over Coffee episode, and we'll pick a top question of the episode, and that question and person that submitted it will get a free bag of a Voki Coffee from our favorite subscription coffee place that we might need to tone down our subscription on. But hey, our screw up is your gain, and we're going to start giving away our spare coffee. So, obviously our eyes are bigger than our coffee mugs, but we'll pass it off to you. So we can't guarantee the freshness date at all on these because we've been collecting these for a while, but once we start going through the coffee, you may start getting better stuff, like fresher dates. But honestly, I think even some of the stuff from a couple months ago still tastes fine. So I'm not super huge on fresh dates. I try to get the freshest coffee I can, but you know, it all still tastes good. I guarantee you it's better than most of the stuff you're buying right now. It's going to be whole bean too, so you will have to grind it. So hopefully you guys have a grinder because that's what you should be doing to coffee anyway. So anyhow, moving on from that, Voki is a roaster out of Fort Worth. It's probably our favorite place to buy coffee from and drink coffee from, so you can try it too, even though you're where you are. But they have a online ordering platform for subscriptions, so you can drink it at home too if you wanted to. Just saying. All right, moving on. This is all the coffee we have to give away, by the way. So send in your questions. Use the pound tag Gear Tasting on any social media network. I always say it. I'll say it at the end too, but that's how you're going to get a bag of coffee. Make it a good question. All right. So I wanted to start off with a question. I was already going into what the question. I don't even know what the question is. Here we go. I was wondering why the change in the ETA Trauma Kit. I understand upgrading the bag, but why the contents? This comes from Jeff. So great question. We recently launched our new ETA Trauma Kit. We have condensed a couple of kits down to one kit. So used to be we offered a basic kit and an advanced kit, and what the difference was is that the basic kit did not have the needle and MPA, the advanced kit had it, and then we offered two different flavors of that. So we offered two different ways of packaging it. We had a tall boy and a fat boy, and the deal with that is that they went along with our tall boy and fat boy trauma kit pouches. So the theory is that, you know, the tall boy pouch takes up kind of 2 columns of Molly or PALs, and the fat boy takes up 3. So depending on the configuration you had available on your kit or so on and so forth, you would choose which style you like. Now, even though we're still offering both pouches, because the tall boy can be mounted horizontally, like so, we include mouse clips in each of these pouches. Most people don't in their pouches, but we do, because we know it sucks to get a pouch without mouse clips, so that's why we include them. Tall and short on this pouch. God, so good. Anyway, so you can mount it to a battle belt or what have you, any horizontal method that you want to. But that was the reason for the tall boy and fat boy versions. And then we figured out that most people weren't buying the basic kits anyway, and we went just with the advanced kit. And then that just comes with the needle and MPA. Most people were buying those because at the end of the day, something we advocate with our trauma kits too is it might not be you using the kit on somebody. It might be somebody using your kit on you or someone around you that is trained on those kind of things. So even though you may not feel the most comfortable with carrying a needle and MPA, again, it might not be you. So that's kind of, I think, why people were moving more towards the advanced kit. So because of that, we still had the advanced kit in both tall boy and fat boy, and we've been researching a new vacuum material for a long time. We're dubbing it our TrueFlex material. So the new ETA Trauma Kit comes with our TrueFlex material, and what that does is it not only allows us, or has allowed us, to reduced the size of the trauma kit by more than 40%. It's super small. We are using a couple of different components, and I'll get into that and allude to Jeff's question in a second. But the new vacuum material, the TrueFlex material, not only makes us able to make it 40% smaller, but it's also stronger. So it's more puncture resistant than a lot of vacuum material on the market. So it's really hard to describe, in person or even on video, but the vacuum material we use actually stretches and it kind of forms around the product a lot better. I know vacuum does that, but normal vacuum plastic is a lot different. So anyway, hard to describe, easier to kind of describe in person because you can actually feel the difference. But it also has allowed us to make a bag make a vacuum material that's even easier to open too. So we came up with a new design that has these nice red triangles for you to grab in either of the four corners to open it. So I have one here that I'm going to open. The deal with this is that not only is it easier to open, but you can open it from all four sides. So very, very, very simple to open. So even though it's stronger, it's easier to open, which, hey, that's what we've been reinventing the wheel for the last, year and a half now. So we've been trying to get to the smaller size and to make a material that's stronger and easier to open. So success, we have now gone to one ETA Trauma Kit. So that's the deal. So I wanted to take a minute to kind of go through not only the contents, but also kind of the evolution of our trauma kit. So this was the very first one, just a size comparison. This is what we first started offering back in 2009. These were some of the very first commercially available vacuum sealed trauma kits on the market. That's kind of where we fit in with the trauma kit sales, as we saw a need on the market for kits like this, and that's what we made. So in all, even though the components have changed through the years, the overall scheme of this kit has not changed, which is it is to treat the 3 leading causes of preventable death in the field, according to the Committee on Tactical Combat Casualty Care, the COTCCC. Those are extremity hemorrhage, tension pneumothorax, and airway obstruction. So hence ETA kit, ETA, right? So by doing that, we've kind of changed components a little bit through the years, but they've all kept the general scheme of what we're trying to do. So extremity hemorrhage, so for some reason, 2009 to 2010, 11, we somehow went up in size. So I don't know why. I thought that maybe it was smaller, but obviously that's a monster compared to where we're at today. And even like I showed earlier, tall boy and fat boy, this is the current iteration and it's much better, much cleaner, much smaller, so on and so forth. So component-wise, we have always included needles in versions of our kits, as well as gauze for wound packing and the combat gauze that fell off the table. 1 second. So combat gauze, or Z-Medica, has recently reduced the size of their combat gauze. So the same overall, I say reduce the size, reduce the packaging size. So they're now packaging in a different way so that it's smaller, which is great. So it's easier to pack in our kits. We've also kind of moved from an Israeli dressing to the H&H mini compression bandage, and kind of done away with the ACE wrap that was in our kits. We found out that people weren't using them, and honestly the compression bandage, or even an Israeli at the time, did double duty as something like an ACE wrap if you needed it in a pinch. So by eliminating that, we're able to make the kit smaller. We also went with the beacon seals. These seals are just as strong as the Halo vented chest seals. We were using it just like the Halo vent. It comes with one vented and one non-vented seal. Smaller package, as well as a smaller seal overall, but it still is just as effective. And then still including gloves in the kit, still got the needle and MPA in the kit, and then also, like I mentioned, compressed gauze for wound packing. So we're not eliminating any of those 3 things that the kit is able to treat. We've just done so in a smaller package and made it easier for you guys at home. So we get a lot of questions too about, does the new kit fit in the tall boy and fat boy? Yes, it does. So in the tall boy and fat boy, it will fit in the pouch in the back that was designed to hold the vacuum sealed trauma kit. So fat boy or tall boy, it still fits just fine. So Both of these pouches would be great for you. The kind of design around these pouches is that not only can you hold the vacuum sealed trauma kit in the back, but if you wanted to actually open the kit and put the components in the pouch, you can. So the shock cord is to hold kind of smaller items like this, or the gloves rolled up, what have you. And then, you know, the pockets on the side here to hold the needle and MPA, etc. So still just as functional as before, but we've just made a smaller package with our TrueFlex material. One other question I just wanted to address real quick is that we get questions on why isn't there a tourniquet inside here? Well, we do have a tourniquet in the kit, and that's our EDC kit, which we're not talking about today, but that's more of a pocket kit. It's got a pack of combat gauze and gloves and a soft T wide tourniquet in it, all nice and compact in a small package. Even though we don't include a tourniquet with this kit, the ETA Trauma Kit, we do have an option for that if you want to just carry a tourniquet and a pack of combat gauze and some gloves to kind of be prepared for the E in extremity, right? So also, more people are starting to come on board with tourniquets as a first application rather than going straight to a pressure dressing. So that's one of the reasons we've reduced the size of the compression bandage from the Israeli to the mini compression bandage. You're still getting a great compression bandage with it. It's still great, but at the same time, we're able to reduce the size in the kit too. So, you know, with advancements in tourniquets like our Tourniquet pouch, easily deployable. You can now carry a tourniquet kind of outside the body, and that's what we've always advocated anyway, that we've never really recommended carrying a tourniquet inside your trauma kit pouch or even in the kit itself, even though we do sell the EDC. My philosophy and those around me here are that you should be carrying a tourniquet readily available, easily accessible, and the reason of, oh, well, you know, you could have a second one if you had one in the kit. It doesn't really hold water too much. Like if you're going to have a second one readily available too, not inside a kit. So anyhow, that's kind of the impetus of the ETA Trauma Kit. I wanted to explain. Sorry for the long-winded answer, but I had a lot to talk about, obviously, and hopefully you can see the benefit of our new trauma kits. One more thing I forgot to mention is that we have also made the kit small enough to fit some of the more popular chest rigs on the market, like the Haley Strategic DC3R. So now there is a kit that was designed for this. We work with Haley Strategic too to design their own kits that are very similar to this, but just so you know, our new kits do fit in that pocket. Okay, before I move on to the next question, by the way, Jeff's question is the question of the week. So Jeff, getting some coffee, so stay tuned. We'll find you. All right, next question is from AWXS. I don't know what that means. That's probably a username. Not sure if you bike, but if so, do you have any recommendations for carrying a firearm while riding? Can't seem to find a good solution. Yes, the Hill People gear, I think they call it their kit bag. This is a solution for a chest-mounted, semi-chest rig-ish thing. I don't really know what you call it. Marsupial pouch? Anyway, so I found this to be great for different things like mountain biking or something like that. But what's great is that if you prime the pocket the right way, you've still got easy access into it, and you can take like a Raven concealment Vanguard and mount it into this loop in here, meaning on the dummy cord, and then when you pull it, you just have a short cord, and that Vanguard will come off of the holster, and you can access your firearm that way. So that's probably the best solution that I know of on the market. What's great too is when you're bike riding, you also need headlamps. I know this is a completely different question, but I want to talk about headlamps, and I thought this would be a good way to talk about it. Anyway, so I've been using these Princeton Tech headlamps for a long time. Probably my favorite headlamps on the market, but they're getting some stiff competition from Petzl. They sent over these Tactia flash or headlamps for me to take a look at, and they're winning me over, honestly. I really do like some of the features on these. One thing that I still like about these from Princeton Tech is they take a 123 battery, and I usually wind up carrying 123 batteries anyway in a lot of my kit. So I like the fact that they have those. However, I also carry AAA batteries in my kit, which is what all three of these headlamps take. They've also come out with this interesting technology too. They call it their hybrid concept, and what this does is it allows you to not only put one of these rechargeable batteries inside their headlamps, But in that same space, you can also put AAA batteries. So they've kind of got this hybrid design, and this is like the same body here, just to show you the difference. But it will allow you to put either or inside the headlamps, which I think is a cool concept. Try not to get these mixed up here so I can talk about the right thing here. Yes. All right. So this headlamp in particular has 350 lumens, which is a lot. I used to rock the E-light, the Petzl E-light, a long time ago, and I stopped using that because of the fact that I almost got mauled by a bobcat and I couldn't see. So I decided to stop using that E-light. I thought it was great, very small, compact, even came with a whistle on the lanyard, super cool. However, it just wound up not being powerful enough for me, and I wound up coming back to the Princeton Tech headlamps and using those all the time because I wanted a brighter light. I like the fact that the Princeton Techs also changed from red to white. So it starts off being red, second click is a brighter red, and then if you hold down the button, you get full lumen on white light. So I like the fact that every time I turned it on, I wouldn't have to worry about white lighting anything. I could just go straight to red. So, and then also with another version of this, you can go from red to blue, which I thought was cool too, because blue light's great for blood, so finding blood, blue light's great for that. So I like the fact that it had both in there, and then it also still had the feature to turn to white light. The Tactia core, and that's kind of their line here. So you've got the Tactia core, you've got the Tactia RGB, and then just the Tactia. They all have that hybrid technology where you can run either or. So if you want to charge from a USB or a wall outlet or something with a USB adapter, you can do that. I'm not a huge fan of rechargeable batteries, but I like that you can do both with them. So kind of gives you the best of both worlds. So again, this is 350 lumens. I like that it also starts out red. Second click on red is a strobe, which I think is a pretty neat feature. And then if you hold down the button, you get to white, and it's low white LED. Then second is even brighter. I thought there was a third, yeah. So the third is the 350 lumens, which is pretty damn bright. Yeah, you knew I was gonna do that, right? All right, so I like the fact that that's got 350 lumens. Now their RGB version is very similar, same features, but it starts out with white. However, when you go to press the button and you go to red, second red click is still that strobe, but if you turn it off and you turn it back on, it's going to stay on red, which I think is a pretty cool feature. So whatever lockout feature you have, meaning by lockout I mean holding down the button and changing it. So also green strobe. So lockout again, blue and blue strobe. So it's got RGB obviously in it as well as the white light. So the white goes up to 250 lumens in this version, but you do gain the extra colors for the LED if you're into that kind of thing. Again, I really like red and blue as well as a badass white light, so that's what drew me to kind of the upgraded Princeton Tech model, and that's what draws me right now to this RGB model. I really like the 350 more in this one. However, I really like the versatility of this. So either way, so this is their standard Tactica, and this is 200. And again, you got white, 3 settings on white to the brightest, and then hold it down. Now you get to red, and then red strobe. But that's all this one has. It doesn't have any other colors. One thing that I like about these two straps on these models, the 200 and the 350, is that they have whistles built into the strap, the elastic strap on the headband. So you get your rape whistle inside the headband. So anyway, that's probably not supposed to say that, but I said it anyway. All right, so that's Petzl, and I also really like the fact that there's a disconnect though on the 250 model. So even though it doesn't have the whistle, it does have a disconnect, which I think is a cool safety feature, just so you don't get choked out by the strap, just in case. There is two different kinds of material though. The 250 has kind of a softer elastic here, and this is a little bit more of a, I would say it's rougher a little bit on the sides, but it's slick here, but it still has flex. So you can kind of see the difference between the material when I flex them here. Anyhow, but these don't have the quick disconnect. So a little bit about Petzl lights and kind of where I've been going with headlamps lately. I'm starting to lean a little bit towards Petzl, but I've used these a few times and I'm going to continue using them and still report back on what I see. Okay, next question is from Greg. National Bourbon Day is coming up, which is actually today. Are you planning a special pour for the day? What we have currently in the shop is Woodford Reserve, some fine Woodford Reserve from the Kentucky Derby. Every year Woodford does a Kentucky Derby bottle, and funny story, I went to go buy a bottle and I was like, oh man, they have the new Kentucky Derby bottle, and then I got it back and I was like, wait a minute, this is last year's bottle. But anyway, so this is last year's Kentucky Derby bottle that I bought this year. Anyway, we always have drinks on the podcast, so we always have bourbon sitting around. Rob brought in this big old bottle of Special Reserve. By the way, this is a great bourbon. Weller 12 is even better, but if you're looking for a budget bourbon that's real nice, go for the Weller Special Reserve if you can find it. It's a lot easier to find than the Weller 12. You'll probably see this more than you will the Weller 12 or the Antique 107, which is a little too spicy for me. But anyway, I will do a pour and kill this bottle of Woodford Reserve because I've been wanting to take it home and start collecting the bottles. It's not really 11 o'clock. It's like afternoon, so it should be fine. Anyhow, cheers. National Bourbon Day. All right, thanks for watching Questions Over Coffee. Remember, if you would like your own bag of Voki Coffee, all you got to do is send in a question and use the pound tag you're tasting any social media network to send in that question. We will find it, get it here on an episode, and if we pick your question as the question of the episode, you get a bag of coffee for free, sent from us. Nothing to lose. Might as well submit a question right now. Go over to your computer. I know you're on your computer right now. I know you're on your phone. Head over to Twitter. Head over to Instagram. Head over to Facebook. Send us an email to support@ITS Tactical. It doesn't matter. Send in your question. You need a bag of coffee. You need to try this coffee. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to spread the love so you can find out how good a Voki coffee is. It is roasted right here in Fort Worth, Texas. Anyway, I bet you'll never guess which one is bourbon and which one's coffee. Need to clean my cup. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time.